So Mark Twain has a quote. He says, the two most important days in a person's life are the day you're born and the day you discover why. And I think that this is true for startups too. They're born with a mission, a technicolor vision of what the company might look like in the future, a prototype, a triple, triple, double, double revenue forecast, although now, according to Bessemer, it's a quadruple, double, triple, triple for AI companies. But the day they find out why that they're born is the day the majority of their customers tell them they can't live without their products. Letter. I also think the same principle applies for technology itself. So for most people, the day AI was born was November 30th, 2022, when OpenAI released the initial version of ChatGPT. And as I said at last year's summit, this moment felt like peering over the shoulders of Alexander Fleming when he discovered penicillin. He was absolutely stunned as he looked at a clear margin surrounding the mold where no bacteria was growing. And in his words, he said, I certainly didn't plan to revolutionize all of medicine by discovering the world's first antibiotic, but I suppose that's exactly what I did. So in the same way, we knew that day that ChatGPT moment marked a tipping point beyond which healthcare would be irreversibly transformed. So now we're a few years into the era that we're calling applied AI. And as we presaged last year, foundation models, and we heard a little bit of the discussion today, but I think foundation models are fast becoming utilities. Big tech is moving into the application layer. We just heard at Epic's UGM that Epic is moving into the application layer. And value is increasingly migrating to proprietary data, workflows, access to patients, knowledgeable and compassionate providers, and most importantly, our theme today is trust. And those are all assets that health systems have in abundance. And those fortunate in this room to create with health systems have a phenomenal opportunity to apply AI to these invaluable assets. So we think these companies are going to win because they can go narrow and deep, they can build products from the customer back versus the model forward, and they can deliver outcomes, not tools, and of course they can scale very quickly. And we in this room, we can all help these new technology, or this new technology, AI, discover why it was born by doing all we can to help these companies compress their time to impact. So at Aegis, and you heard a lot of this today from John, we're very, very bullish on Gen AI to improve patient experience and health outcomes. And we made a pair of bets, as John talked about, in Hume and CareGentic. We're huge proponents of agentic AI and the potential for swarms of agents to change the workforce of the future, and Ascertain has been our bet in that space. We're huge believers in unlocking unique data to drive AI applications that improve treatments. We have a bet in that world with Avandra, and I'm sure you all read the big announcement from Optane, which is our initial foray into predictive AI, vision to make retinal imaging a new vital sign. So we also believe that predictive AI is very nascent and has potential to completely transform the practice of medicine from reactive to proactive, and we're exploring a lot of exciting opportunities in that space. So our portfolio companies have compressed their time to market, their time to impact, and value creation by applying Gen AI, agentic AI, and predictive AI to these unique data sets. And the data sets are patient-generated health data, affect, emotional data, workflow data, federated imaging, and retinal scan data. But it's only been possible because of the trusted relationships that they've developed with partners, most of whom are in this room today. So thank you all for that. And it's really hard to overstate our excitement for what's next for these AI innovations. We think they're going to change healthcare as we know it. And you've heard a lot about that today. You're going to hear a lot in the afternoon. And for those that are here tomorrow with us, we're going to talk a lot about it. And at last year's summit, I foreshadowed this migration of value into the application layer and the ascendant value of unique data sets. So this year, I'd like to actually share some thoughts a little bit further out. So I'm going to look a little bit over the horizon and talk about things that, if you start to connect the dots in AI, that we'll see play out over a longer period of time. So, oops, I'm going backwards. So much of the AI today that we're deploying is really, I would characterize as artificial human intelligence. It's trained on human data. It solves problems and performs tasks like humans do, only better. And for those reasons, it's also susceptible to all the human biases and hallucinations. And its human creators, their highest aspiration, general AI, is really a superhuman AI, right? That's really kind of the world that we're we're living in AI today. Now, imagine an a world where AI is no longer mimicking just human thought and action, but transcends them. So incorporating forms of non-human intelligence. So think about insect societies and cephalopods, plants, fungal networks. There's a ton of intelligence in the natural world that's starting to get, we haven't seen it, it's kind of on the fringes, but it's starting to get integrated into AI. So at the heart of this evolution, there's a scientific term, it's probably my favorite term in science, it's called umwelt, which is really the unique perceptual world that every organism has. And every species experiences reality through its own lens. It's shaped by its own sensors, it's shaped by its own cognitive apparatus. And just as biomimicry has profoundly changed design, physical design, I think we're going to begin to adopt umwelt in AI, creating diverse models that don't just process data as humans do, but perceive problems through fundamentally different subjective realities. And so by embracing these alternative perceptual frameworks, AI can explore solutions that are completely invisible to human cognition. So some examples, take an ant colony. No single ant directs the whole, yet the collective swarm intelligence solves very, very complex challenges through decentralized interaction. Or cephalopods, whose distributed nervous systems enable rapid adaptive responses, and that's being used, that's an umwelt that's inspiring resilient AI robotics today. So I think the future of AI will blend these non-human umwelts with human ingenuity, creating hybrid intelligences that think fluidly, abstractly, and collectively, transcending the limits of human thought. For example, fungal networks. They solve very, very intricate resource distribution problems through self-organizing patterns, and they're inspiring AI systems that could revolutionize global supply chains. I would make a bet, and we'll come back, we'll have to make the bet over a little bit of a longer horizon, that in the not too distant future, we will have fungal agents plus human agents that'll outperform human agents in managing supply chains. So AI embodying umwelts could expand the frontier of problem solving from the previously intractable to the achievable, opening new paths to tackle our most consequential challenges: climate, security, and of course, healthcare. AI would no longer be confined to a single human viewpoint, but rather build solutions from multiple perceptual realities, patterns, and data. So evolution has been the most productive problem solver on Earth for millions and millions of years. Extant species that share our planet today are as successful as humans from an evolutionary standpoint. They've solved billions and billions of problems in their ecological niches, and their unique sensory apparatus, data, and cognition can be enormously additive to the way that we think about developing AI models today. So if two heads are better than one, then a symbiotic marriage of human and diverse non-human intelligences and their unique umwelts should ultimately be able to co-create solutions as rich and varied as nature itself. And these solutions will be much more resilient to bias and hallucination. So I think of it as a multimodal AI-driven biomimicry. We're already seeing the first baby steps in this direction. So I'll give you a couple examples. Michigan State University researchers recently discovered that honeybees can detect biomarkers for cancer. And actually, they can detect different types of cancer. They can detect the chemical changes down to 1 part in a billion. So imagine a bee intelligence doing early diagnostics for lung cancer. Scientists at the University of Bristol developed a soft robotic system inspired by the hierarchical intelligence of an octopus, right? So the neurons are not in the brain, they're throughout the whole body of an octopus and all the arms. And it decides how to move and grip objects by sensing its environment using suction cups that feel, think, and act like an octopus. And so it operates on an embodied suction intelligence, 0 power required. So it's local fluidic processing. It's using the differential in pressure, and it has all sorts of potential to revolutionize robotics, including surgical robotics, with 0 power. Researchers at Technion in Israel have developed a graphene sensor system. It's patterned on the multiple compound lens of insects, and it can sense the volatile organic compounds in breast tissue, so detecting breast cancer. And a Gen AI model acts as the brain. It interprets the collected chemical signals, and it's tracking all sorts of progression and change in proteomics and genomics of the cancer. So what's next in healthcare AI? I think it's twofold. I think we're going to continue to see very successful applications of Gen AI, agentic, and predictive AI, but they're going to increasingly use unique signal-rich data sets to drive meaningful improvements in outcomes. So it's going to be very outcome-focused and very proprietary data-driven. And I think this will be followed by an expansion of the models that power these applications from artificial human intelligence to an even more effective and powerful and trustworthy artificial human plus alternative intelligences. And for all intents and purposes, AI was born really less than 3 years ago for most people. It's immature, it's error-prone, and it hallucinates. And we complain a lot about all those things. But what do we expect? It's like a 3-year-old human, right? It's just trying to find its way through the world. And has anybody talked to a 3-year-old recently? So it really just needs our guidance and our direction and has unimaginable potential. So we can all help AI discover why it was born by working together to launch and scale solutions that help save, heal, improve, and extend human lives. And we at Aegis will continue to scour the planet for the best teams, partners, and approaches to complement the unique health system assets. And this will include keeping our eyes peeled for AI that augments human-centered and human-centric AI with multiple umwelts for more of life's creative problem solvers. Thank you.